Did you know that over 80% of motorcycle crashes result in injury or death? According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, most of these accidents could have been avoided if the rider wasn't making critical mistakes. You might think you're a safe rider, but are you sure you're not making one of these deadly errors? From dangerous riding habits to overlooked safety risks. Today, we're breaking down 10 things you should never do on a motorcycle that could put your life at risk. Stick around until the end, because some of these mistakes are shocking and even experienced riders get them wrong. Let's dive in. Number 1. Using the wrong body position in a turn. One of the most common mistakes riders make, especially beginners, is using the wrong body position when cornering. You might think leaning your upper body as much as possible into the turn is the right way, but that's actually a big mistake. If your upper body is too stiff and your lower body isn't positioned correctly, you're making the bike work against you instead of with you. This can cause instability, reduce your control, and even make the bike feel heavier in turns. The right way? Keep your upper body relaxed, let your lower body shift slightly inside the turn, and allow the bike to lean naturally. Think about gripping the tank lightly with your knees, keeping your elbows bent, and positioning your head toward where you want to go, not just where the handlebars are pointing. This not only makes cornering smoother, but also helps you stay balanced and in control. If you've ever felt your bike wobble mid-turn or had to fight against it to stay on your line, chances are your body positioning is off. Number 2. Riding in another driver's blind spot. Most drivers barely notice motorcycles, and if you're in their blind spot, you might as well be invisible. All it takes is one quick lane change, and suddenly you're getting forced off the road, or worse, smashed between two vehicles. The right way? Always stay visible. If you find yourself next to a car for too long, either speed up or slow down to get out of their blind spot. Position yourself where their side mirrors and rear view mirror can pick you up. A quick rule of thumb: if you can't see the driver's face in their mirror, they can't see you. Studies show that over 40% of motorcycle accidents involving cars happen because the driver didn't see the rider before making a turn or lane change. So, never assume they know you're there. Ride as if you're invisible and always have an escape plan. Number 3. Resting feet on the brake pedal. Resting your foot lightly on the rear brake pedal might feel comfortable, but it's actually dangerous and damaging to your bike. Even the slightest pressure on the pedal can cause the rear brake to drag, overheating the brake system, wearing out your pads faster, and even reducing your fuel efficiency. Worst of all, if you suddenly need to brake hard, you might already have your rear brake partially engaged, leading to a lockup and loss of control. The right way? Keep your foot off the brake pedal unless you're actively braking. Your toes should be resting lightly on the foot pegs, not hovering over the brake. Many riders don't even realize they have this bad habit until they check their brake wear or feel their bike dragging at higher speeds. So, next time you ride, do a quick check. Are you resting your foot on the pedal? If so, it's time to fix that habit. Number 4. Wearing the wrong type of helmet. Your helmet is the only thing standing between your head and the pavement, so choosing the wrong one can be a life or death decision. Many riders make the mistake of wearing half helmets, open-face helmets, or novelty helmets, thinking they provide enough protection. But here's the reality: they don't. Studies show that in motorcycle crashes, over 34% of impacts happen to the chin and face area, meaning that if you're wearing an open face or half helmet, your face is completely exposed to the road. Imagine sliding across the asphalt with nothing protecting your jaw. Not a pretty picture. The right way? Always wear a DOT/ECE certified full face helmet. A full face helmet doesn't just protect your skull, it shields your jaw, eyes, and face from road debris, bugs, and wind blast, making your ride safer and more comfortable. And don't just grab any cheap helmet, make sure it's properly rated for impact protection. A helmet is not just an accessory, it's your lifeline. The wrong choice could mean the difference between walking away from a crash or suffering life-changing injuries. Number 5. Using high beams at the wrong time. High beams are designed to provide maximum illumination on dark and empty roads, but when used in the wrong situations, like in traffic, city streets, or when approaching oncoming vehicles, they can blind other drivers, making it harder for them to judge distance and react appropriately. A temporarily blinded driver is a dangerous driver, and the last thing you want is for someone in a car or truck to misjudge their position relative to you on the road. Another major mistake is using high beams in foggy, rainy, or misty conditions. Many riders assume that brighter lights will cut through the fog, but in reality, high beams reflect off the moisture particles in the air, creating a bright wall of glare that actually reduces your visibility instead of improving it. This can be especially dangerous on highways or winding roads, where you need clear sight lines to anticipate curves and obstacles. The right way to use your headlights? Stick to low beams in normal traffic conditions, especially when riding behind another vehicle or when approaching oncoming traffic. If you need extra visibility on dark, isolated roads, then high beams can be useful, but always switch them off when another vehicle is nearby. In fog, rain, or mist, use low beams or fog lights to reduce glare and improve visibility. Number 6. Overloading your motorcycle. Motorcycles are designed with a specific weight limit, known as the gross vehicle weight rating, which includes the rider, passenger, and any cargo. When you exceed this limit, you're messing with the bike's balance, handling, and braking performance, making it significantly harder to control, especially at higher speeds or in emergency situations. One of the biggest risks of overloading is how it affects the suspension and tires. Too much weight compresses the suspension beyond its optimal range, making the ride feel unstable and reducing the bike's ability to absorb shocks from bumps or potholes. Overloading also puts excessive pressure on the tires, increasing the risk of a blowout, especially if the tire pressure isn't adjusted for the extra load. And let's not forget, braking a heavier bike takes longer to stop, which can be the difference between avoiding an accident and being in one. The right way to carry extra weight? First, always check your motorcycle's GVWR, which can be found in the owner's manual or on the manufacturer's sticker on the bike's frame. If carrying luggage, distribute the weight evenly and keep heavier items low and centered to maintain stability. If riding with a passenger, adjust your suspension and tire pressure accordingly to compensate for the extra load. Number 7. Ignoring tire pressure and condition. Riding with low tire pressure, overinflated tires, or worn-out thread is a recipe for disaster. Underinflated tires make the bike feel sluggish and unstable, reducing grip and making cornering feel unpredictable. On the other hand, overinflated tires decrease traction, making it easier to lose control, especially on wet or uneven surfaces. And if your tire tread is too worn down, you're riding on a slick, unsafe surface that offers little to no grip, especially in the rain. A common but deadly mistake is ignoring slow leaks or assuming tire pressure is good enough. Motorcycle tires naturally lose pressure over time, and temperature changes can dramatically affect PSI levels. A tire that's properly inflated in the morning could be dangerously low by the evening, especially after a long ride or in fluctuating weather conditions. And let's not forget the age of the tire. Even if they look fine, old tires can develop cracks and harden over time, reducing their grip and safety. The right way to manage your tires. Check your tire pressure at least once a week using a reliable pressure gauge and always adjust it according to recommended PSI. Inspect your tread depth regularly. If you can see the wear indicators or the tread looks bald, it's time for new tires. Also, check for cracks, bulges, or uneven wear, which can indicate suspension or alignment issues. Number 8. Failing to use engine braking. Many riders rely entirely on their brakes to slow down, completely ignoring one of the most effective and safest ways to control speed: engine braking. When you simply roll off the throttle, your motorcycle's engine naturally slows the bike down without needing to apply the brakes aggressively. This reduces wear on your brake pads and discs while giving you more control and stability, especially on downhill slopes or when approaching corners. The biggest mistake riders make is clutching in and costing instead of letting the engine do some of the work. If you pull the clutch too early and coast, you're eliminating an important form of deceleration and putting all the stopping responsibility on your brakes. This can lead to overheating your brakes, excessive wear, and even brake fade. The right way to use engine braking, instead of pulling in the clutch immediately, gradually roll off the throttle and let the engine slow the bike naturally. Downshift smoothly and progressively to match your speed, keeping your RPMs in a comfortable range without over-revving the engine. This technique is especially useful in wet or slippery conditions, where sudden braking can cause a loss of traction and potential skidding. Number 9. Riding with poor lane positioning. Many riders make the mistake of riding too close to the center of the lane, not realizing that this is often the dirtiest part of the road. Oil drips from cars, debris accumulates, and in wet conditions, this area can be extremely slippery, increasing the risk of losing traction. On the other hand, riding too far to the right puts you dangerously close to parked cars, pedestrians, and roadside obstacles, not to mention the risk of a car door suddenly opening in front of you. A deadly mistake is staying in a position that reduces your visibility to other drivers. If a car ahead of you can't see you in their rearview mirror, they might assume the lane is clear and change lanes right into you. Similarly, poor lane positioning can make it harder for you to see upcoming hazards, like potholes or sudden obstacles in the road. The best lane position depends on traffic, road conditions, and visibility. In general, riding in the left or right third of the lane gives you a better view of the road ahead and makes you more visible to drivers. Number 10. Using incorrect gloves or no gloves at all. Some think gloves are just for comfort or warmth, but in reality, they're one of the most essential pieces of protective gear you can wear. In an accident, your instinct is to put your hands out to break the fall, and without proper gloves, you're looking at severe abrasions, fractures, or even permanent damage. Road rash on your palms. That's not just painful, it can take months to heal and could even require skin grafts. Wearing cheap, casual, or non-motorcycle gloves is another big mistake. Regular leather gloves, work gloves, or fashion gloves aren't designed for impact protection and can tear instantly in a slide. The best motorcycle gloves have armor, reinforced palms, and abrasion-resistant materials to prevent your skin from getting shredded on asphalt. Some high-quality gloves even have palm sliders, which allow your hands to slide rather than catch on the pavement, reducing the risk of wrist fractures. The right way to protect your hands? Always wear motorcycle-specific gloves that are designed for impact and abrasion resistance. Look for gloves with reinforced knuckles, palm protection, and a secure wrist strap to keep them from flying off in an accident. And if you ride in different seasons, have gloves suited for each: ventilated gloves for summer, insulated gloves for winter, but always with proper protection. That's all for today. If you found these tips helpful, then do not forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with your fellows.